Hare Krishna. Don't mistake I know that I can't know with I don't know. I know that I can't know is an acknowledgement of human finiteness when confronted with the infiniteness of the divine. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna how he alone can know Krishna. That Krishna alone can know Krishna. Swayameva atmana atmanam vettatvam purushottama. That Swayam eva atmana atmanam. That you alone can know yourself, my dear Lord. Vettatvam dev jagat. Vettatvam purushottama. You are Purushottama. You are Deva Deva. You are Jagatpate. So, prior to this, Krishna says that Nahite Bhagavan Vyaktim Vidurdevana Danavaha. That your form, your personality, that cannot be known even by the Devtas, what then to speak of the Danavas? No one can know him. And now, curiously, Arjuna tells Krishna that actually you Devtas can't know you, only you can know yourself. And then after this, Arjuna doesn't just give it up. He says, Krishna, you can't be known, then what is the use of knowing you? Rather, he says to the contrast that actually, Krishna, I want to hear more and more about you. Vistarena. Please speak about you, yourself, Vistarena. Elaborately say. Says that Bhuya Kathaya Truptirhi Shrunato Nasti Me Amritam. He says that when I hear about you, there is no trupti, there is no satiation. I want to keep hearing more and more and more. So here we see something very peculiar. On one side, we see that there is the admission that we can't know, and yet there is the intense desire to know, irresistible desire in fact to know. How is that? Because when it comes to God, the purpose of knowledge of knowing is not to conquer by knowing. The purpose of knowing is loving. And a devotee wants to know more and more about Krishna because the more a devotee knows, that knowing itself is an expression of loving. And knowing increases loving. If we love someone, if we say, if we have a very close friend who has been away from us for many months and then that person comes back home, when we meet after long, we want to know, where were you? What were you doing? How was your time? So when we love someone, we want to know about that person, and if that person is wonderful and does wonderful things, then by knowing more and more about that person, our love for that person increases further. So in this way, actually the purpose of knowing is not knowing itself, is not conquering with our knowledge, but it is loving. In material life, the purpose of knowing, either it is people study to get knowledge of a subject so that they can get a job, or if people are really into a subject, they want to know a subject so that they can master the subject. Now we can never master Krishna, but we can love him, and the purpose of knowledge is to love him. So now how God can be simultaneously a person and he can be all pervading. This is something which is very difficult to understand. How God can have a form that seems to limit him and still remain unlimited. This is not so easy to understand. So there are many things about God which we cannot understand. But that does not mean that there is no, if we say that God is inconceivable, that does not mean that there is no need to know him. Actually, we don't need to, we cannot know him, but we need to know him. Because in knowing him, we express our love for him and we intensify our love for him. In contrast, when a person says that I don't know. Now that I don't know is very different from a devotee saying that Krishna is unknowable. A devotee knows that I don't know. That is different from just ignorance means I don't know who God is. It's not a subject of my interest. It's not a subject of my comprehension. It's not a subject which I am not familiar with. So that I don't know is either an admission of ignorance or it's an admission of negligence or of indifference. Ignorance or indifference. I just have no knowledge about a subject. I don't care about a subject, so I don't know about it. So, for a devotee, the admission that we can't know, it's not just I don't know, we can't know, is actually acknowledgement of the glory of the Lord. It is a cause, occasion for celebration, because we dive deep into Krishna and we relish His glories more and more. And just like an ocean has no end, and yet those who search for precious stones in an ocean, pearls in the ocean, they dive deeper and deeper into the ocean and they keep exploring its depth forever. So like that, a devotee knows that Krishna is so great that I can never know Him in full. But still, in knowing Him, there is so much joy, there is so much taste, there are so many pearls of wisdom, pearls of devotion to be had in knowing Him. And that's why a devotee keeps desiring to know Him more and more and more. So, although Krishna is inconceivable, He is relishable. And when we say about Krishna that we can't know, I can't know should not be equated with I don't know. No, we can't know is an acknowledgement of humility. It's an acknowledgement of the supremacy of God as compared to our finiteness. And we can't know is actually the gateway by which we no longer let contradictions stop us from relishing Krishna. As long as our focus is on trying to conquer Krishna with our knowledge, then things which cannot be understood, they keep tormenting us, they keep nagging us, they keep mocking us, and we get frustrated with and we can't relish Krishna. But once we acknowledge we can't know, then that opens the doors for us to put intellectually unsolvable contradictions aside and to dive deep into relishing the sweetness of Krishna. And once we start relishing, then there is an inexhaustible ocean of Krishna's glories to relish forever and ever. And that is the sweetness of bhakti. It is not non-intellectual, but it is trans-intellectual. It uses the intellect to relish something that is beyond the intellect. Thank you. Hare.